In this lesson, we're going to be reflecting points on the coordinate plane. When you are reflecting points, basically what you're doing is you are creating a mirror image of the point that you have. So we're going to start by reflecting across the x-axis. If I give you the ordered pair 1, -3, okay, we're going to look where 1, -3 is. Remember, it's x and then y. So 1 would be to the right 1 and then down 3. So my ordered pair is at 1, -3 when I put it right here. So what I want to do is I want to reflect that across the x-axis. So to do that, to reflect that way, you use the same x-coordinate and take the opposite of the y-coordinate. So we're going to write those steps down. You use the same x-coordinate and you take the opposite of the y-coordinate. So, my x-coordinate is 1, so I'm going to keep 1, 1, and I'm going to take the opposite of -3, which is +3, and plot the point 1, 3. 1, 3 is 1 to the right and 3 up. So if I were to fold this over on the x-axis, these two ordered pairs would land right on top of each other. They're mirror images. You could do the same thing with the y-axis. So if I want you to reflect across the y-axis, we are first going to plot our given point. In this one, let's look at -2, 3. Okay, we're going to plot that one first. -2 is your x value. That takes you 2 to the left. +3 is your y value. That takes you up 3. So we're at -2, 3. Now reflecting across the y-axis is backwards. In this one, you use the same y-coordinate and the opposite x-coordinate. So if I'm going to do that, the same y-coordinate that keeps 3, 3, and then the opposite of -2 is +2, so it's 2, 3. I plot that on my coordinate grid. 2, 3 is 2 to the right for +2, and then up 3. So this is reflected across the y-axis. So you go over the y-axis. If you folded this on the y-axis, you would see those 2 points would match up. Now sometimes you're going to have to reflect twice. So let's say, for example, I give you, I give you the ordered pair 2, -4, and I want you to reflect across y and then x. Okay? So let's first plot 2, -4. 2, -4 takes me 2 to the right and 4 down, because that's where -4 would be. So if I'm first reflecting across the y-axis, remember, reflecting across the y-axis, y stays the same, and you take the opposite of x. Y stays the same, so it stays -4. You take the opposite of x, so now it's -2. So I'm going to go to -2, -4. I go 2 left, down 4, and I put that point there. And you see that they are on opposite sides of the y-axis, so you have reflected across the y-axis. Now you take that point, -2, -4, and you reflect that across the x-axis. When you reflect across the x stays the same, and you do the opposite of y, so -4 becomes +4. So again, you always plot from the origin. So I'm starting at 0, 0. I go -2, which is left 2, and then +4, which is up 4. So now I have reflected across the x-axis. So I did 1 first across the y-axis, and then 2 across the x-axis. Now you're going to try this on your own. Good luck.